All right, we are in the Winter Springs tournament. Yes. What do we got here? What do we have? I think these are all at Sharuba Springs, and we just played this hole in the last. We had the par four nine or the what the hell was that 9-hole cup that we just had. I wasn't able to play in the final round. What was that 9-hole cup? It was the Far East 9-hole cup. I got up Saturday. I had planned to play on Saturday, but I bought some tequila while I was in Mexico that you can only buy in Mexico. And my nephew came early, and we played D&D and drank tequila all day. So it was play Golf Clash or drink tequila and play D&D. I drank tequila and played D&D. That was it. I see they're still having the Facebook issue. Still can't log in to get your avatar, and I have no freaking clue why our avatar is tied to Facebook. So I guess if you don't have a Facebook account, you can't have an avatar. That's how this game works. So this game is a Facebook game. I understand when they first started, if you have an app, you want to get tied into all these social media stuff so that you can really fire it up and try but we're way past that, boys. That was 2017, and you're still allowing some social media company to affect your game. It cracks me up. I mean, there's a bunch of people that have lost their accounts and can't get into them, and shit's gotten all jacked up, and like, why would you're almost like sabotaging your own game. Is that it? All right, what do we got here? Okay, we just played this hole. We just played it. You can go here. Straight up shot. It is uphill from here, and I believe it is a really small adjustment. It's like 10 or 15% long iron. I'm going to try and hit it down into here, and that'll put me into short iron range, and that's coming around this way. So if you got an APOC, if you brought out, I didn't bring it. You need a 4 side spin ball, and the side spin is more important than the top spin. So you got to get all of the 4 side spin. Now I suppose you could bring out a 5 side spin ball and try and get out 5 side spin, but then you're going to get less top spin. You can get it done with a 4 side spin ball. You can, if you hit it absolutely right, you can get it done with a 3 side spin ball, just barely. But just trying to get down into this range right here. Hold on one second. All right. Evidently, we had a Kings of Golf president change. Somebody was asking me why. And my response was, I don't know. All right, let's play it. Let's go out and play these holes. We'll look at them and play them and see what we got. If I remember correctly, these Sharuba Springs holes, these are fun holes, so we'll see. We'll see. Let's see what I have for a spin. What do I have in the 4 side spin range? The 4-4. We haven't had any 4-4-4s for sale, and the utility balls for a while, and those 4-4-4s are super handy. Super. I only have 2 left, so that's no bueno. No bueno. I might be able to get it done with a power 3. Let's see if we can get it done with a. Let's see if we can get it done with a three side spin ball. I'm not sure that you can, and the 3 power might be just a little bit of an issue. I'll take an APOC. We'll go play for free today. May or may not qualify this account. You got to call Dunner and see if he wants to play. I could play my odd account with him, and so I may qualify, I may not. I'm just going to go out there and mess around. See what happens when we have nothing. see how good we can play it. I really did want to play in that weekend round for that Far Eastern. I love par fours, and like the whole career based on par fours. Par fours are what makes our round, and par threes and par fives are what get you banners. In the first only par four hole tournament, 9-hole cup, I won that tournament and was kind of excited to play it, but I like playing D&D too, and I don't get to play as often as I would like. Okay, so we brought out a par 5 ball and we just hit it into the... Dude, like, I'm looking at the shot that you did there. I mean, what did you expect was going to happen any different than that? Okay, I'm going to give myself plenty of room here. Unfortunately, I have to pinch myself on the right-hand side. 1.9. It's 1.5 per ring, so it should be, what, a ring and a third. I'll put that forward power back on it. Oh, well, I won't be missing the rough on the right-hand side, but I will be getting caught up right here. I won't make it through. So if I'd have hit that perfect or one ring great to the right, I probably would have been in the clear. But 2 rings great to the right is no freaking bueno. .125 times. I haven't taken a ton of shots with this off-roader since I switched it in my bag, but I have yet to make a shot with it. And I've been playing its numbers, and it's been off, so I'm gonna make a change. Let's see if we can make one here. Let's see if we can hit it perfect and get in the hole. I've been close, but I haven't been able to sink one. I've had a lot of success over the years with my Nirvana. I always felt like if I brought my Nirvana out, I had just as good a chance. I got to get that same kind of confidence in my off-roader. There's max, there's mid, in the 3/4 range. 2.8. Do 1.6. Let's do... .6 rings. My opponent's emoji spamming me. Ah, 1 ring great to the right. And I left it a little short, and it was a little short. Even if I'd hit it perfect. That's the deal. Distance. If you play real golf, you got to get it there. You don't have any shot of getting it in the hole if you don't at least get it to the hole. That is the direction I'm going to play this hole. And I think it is easier with a 4 side spin ball. The thing with the 4 side spin ball is you don't have to, and a bigger power ball. We'll look at that hole. So from where I was at with a bigger power ball, my red line's in this range right here. With a bigger power ball, you can get forward a little bit more, and with the angle, you don't have to pinch up quite so much on this side. You can give yourself a little bit more room. You got to make it past the first bounce. So, and I'm not trying to get because of how the game works, where you can't put on all the side spin and all of the top spin. if you could put on, if you had a topspin boost ball and you put on all of the topspin and all of the side spin, you could get shit, you could damn near get on. You could definitely get into this range, but because of you can't put on any more topspin when you put on that much side spin, this is pretty much the area that you're looking for right down in here. And from here, you're mid short iron. Close. I'm not sure because I don't hit down into this area. I did in the past, but if you must be pretty close to minimum long iron. So if you brought out a bigger ball, you might be able to eke yourself into short iron down there. Anytime you can get into short iron, it's always better. It's always better. Hole number 2. Let's see if I can remember how to play this one. There must be a rough. Is there a rough bump here? Let's see. Let's go out and play it. We will go play this hole, and I'm going to take a... I'm not sure what I need as far as spin if there is a rough bump, so let's look at it. A lot of these par 3s, they blend together. They kind of look the same. We'll try it out. We'll go see what the deal is on it. We'll wing it, as it were. I know that I wish they'd start making harder courses that really like challenge you when you're playing. I can get away from all of the shit that Golf Clash puts on here. This is a good spot for a 4 side spin ball. 2-4. Where am I at my club? Let's be towards mid. I don't really want to overpull that. That's for damn sure. I'm just going to do a straight up adjustment. Hitting it perfect. No, it wasn't unlucky. I just didn't make a good adjustment. I don't know what the wind adjustment is on that, but that in that spot right there, if you're going to do a rough bump, that's if you don't want to have to get so close to that edge, having a ball that's got 4 side spin would help as well. You could stay more in that in the center of that, give you a little bit more leeway depending on which way the wind's blowing. So this wind works really good, so you don't have to pull over the sand, but you can see how sharp the drop is once you get to the sand, so you know it's going to distort your rings. So if you brought out a bigger side spin ball, you could stay more in the middle. So if the wind was blowing, so you would have to pull over the sand, it gives you a little bit more leeway. Little bit more. Always better to be close. But no cigar. Hopefully everybody so far is having a good year. It's cold. I say it's cold here, but like I know a lot of listeners and a lot of people live in areas where it really is cold. It's hard to explain, but in the Pacific Northwest, on the western side of the state of Oregon where I live, we don't get super cold temperatures. I mean, like if it gets below 0, that is like I think maybe once in the last 20 years we've had some weather where it was below, where it got like maybe -1, but it was right there at 0. We don't get that kind of weather. Usually like it's in the cold here is in the 20s, and that's cold, but we're usually running at somewhere between 70 and 90% humidity, so it is freaking cold. It goes right through everything you're wearing and goes right to your skin and goes, hey, welcome to the cold. So you're in a constant state of cold. I have a buddy that was here. We were both working in Washington, and he's from Colorado, and he's like, "Man, it is freezing," and it was in the 20s, and I'm like, "Dude, you're from Colorado," and he's like, "Hey, in Colorado it can be -10, and you could be outside with shorts and a t-shirt on, because it's just -10, but here it's in the 20s, and it's all this humidity. It is super cold." Hole number 3. Hole number 3. This is a rough hole. So we have some options here. You can, if you get the right stuff. Okay, I think a lot of people are gonna. This hole is, you got to be thinking on this hole. It's not just bringing out the stuff for this first shot. If you end up in this area on your first shot, your second shot is a beast. Now what you can do is get way down here into this pocket with like a big dog or a cataclysm and try and bridge the gap to get up towards the green. But the second shot, if you leave yourself short on the first shot, the second shot might be you're too far back so that you can't get your topspin to engage in order to get over this. And if you're hitting over to here, you're just like assuring yourself that you're going to have to take a third shot from distance. You're not going to be up on the green. And there's several, you can get down into this area. You can kind of bridge this gap depending on what ball you bring. If you bring out and we've got the right kind of wind, you can get lucky and try and get yourself over into this area. We have some, let me think about this hole for a minute. All right, let's just go. We'll just go play it. What do we got here for ball options? This is definitely a hole that you want to bring out a bigger ball, if nothing else, for the second shot. Don't really, the topspin boost might help there, but side spin would help as well. Let's think. Let's take one of these bad boys. I think that might work. I'm going to bring my APOC again. We'll play with the number 5 bag. Man, I haven't played this hole since the last tournament it was in. Which is probably what most people are saying. Oh, probably should set up I probably should set up a bag. I just sat here and talked about your second shot is a beast. Probably should bring out something that can hit the farthest, has the best curl, best topspin, good ball guide. We could go either way on that. Backspin's not going to come into it. Curl. I'm going to bring out my Horizon. A little better ball guide. Not quite as much distance, but the topspin could help. We'll stick with that Horizon. Why not? Why not? And we'll just change the driver. Here we go. Now we got the right second club. Haven't played with Horizon in a while, so here we go. I'd forgotten all about the Horizon for quite a... when the game first started, I played with Horizon for a long time, and I had a lot of success with it. And then you just get, more accurate and better clubs, and your sniper gets up in level, and I had totally forgotten about it. And my buddy Dunner we were playing some hole a couple of years ago, and he's like, man, there's a rough bump you can do there. It's a mile away. You got to use almost the entire topspin. And the only club that you can use on it is a Horizon because it has that much topspin. try and go for the gap and try and get over with this kind of wind. I think this is the type of hole that you really need to have a couple different shots in your bag depending on which way the wind's blowing. My opponent will be happy with that area. That area should work. Just wondering with this wind, I might be able to shoot the gap. It'll be 3.5 rings off. Let's do 4. I'm going to leave the wind in. One ring great to the left. We'll see if I can get over this, get a bounce right here, and make it through. There we go. Now that's the area. Now I'm going to be in long iron. So now we've got we got the big dog, or excuse me, the Goliath, which is the big dog of long irons. And what is my Goliath? It's 1.9, 2.3, 2.9. I really do need to stop and take the time to redo I made this my cheat sheet for my clubs several years ago, the one that I'm looking at right now, and I really do need to clean it up. I've got so many chicken scratches on here. Usually when I write in red, that means I've made a change on it, and that's the stuff. So I've got blue stuff on here I was trying out, and red stuff, like this is the numbers I'm going to do, and really do need to clean it up. Some of the clubs I don't hit very far, so they're in the original black that I wrote down. No, we're still in horizon. All right. It's 2.1 per ring, and I'm at max club. Some of these green colors, when they're doing that, this day glow green, yellow, whatever it is, 6 divided by 2.1 be 285 if I just did it straight up. I'm just going to do a straight up adjustment. There's 2, there's 275, there's 285. Oh, one ring great to the left. I was running out of time. And it'll roll off the back. Keep rolling. Yeah, it'll keep rolling. It'll roll. It'll roll. If the wind is blowing right, that is the deal, trying to get over to the other one, to that other fairway, and give yourself a little bit better shot. If you were from where I was at in that area, you can bring a sniper out and you'll have a much better shot going at the cup. But we're only going to be able to really do that if we have tailwind where we can get that extra push. If we've got any headwind, we're going to pretty much be where our opponent was at. There will be some albies on this, but this is not. This is get your eagle, go woohoo, and move on. Because there's going to be a lot of people that are going to, this is going to be a hole that a lot of people are going to drop. And there's not going to be a lot of pickups. So just going out there and getting your eagle is the goal here. Hole number 4. What is hole number 4? This was Winter Springs, wasn't it the first tournament that we played this in? Was that Winter Major. And like when this course came out, this is a tough course. And you would expect for majors that they would like, it's like regular golf, you know, they hit 16 under week after week, and then they get to a major and it's like, hey, we just need to break par this week. We need to be like -1 wins the tournament, or par wins the tournament. And the last few majors that they've had, they were treating them like just regular tournaments and just like crazy. They came out with new holes, and the new holes were easy as hell. You still have to get drops, but like putting yourself in a position to get that drop on every stinking hole, I understand why they make holes easy, because they're appeasing their fan base. But the flip side of that coin is that, geez, guys, come on, man. Make it a little challenge here. And why did I turn that off? Golf Clash. That was our deity hierarchy for the game that we play. Let's think about what I want to take here. I'm going to take something small. Let's take I think I should be able to play this with a Quasar. Quasar. We'll switch to the number 5 bag. Off we roll. This par 3 does not ring a bell. I'm sure it will ring a bell as soon as I get out there. We'll see. It looks like there's only one way to play it. So we're at max, so 4.9 divided by 0.9. 544. There's 544. Hitting it perfect. Wow, I hit one perfect. Trajectory was right. That was just a straight up adjustment at max club, but speed was definitely wrong. Needed to pull back a little or put on just a little bit more backspin, and I think I had 3 and a titch of backspin on there. Maybe leave it a little bit short of the hole. And it looked like it probably needed to be plus 0.1. What ball is this? 1 power, 4 backspin boost, 5 side spin, 5 wind. Now, dude, come on. And, well, if you're going to use a backspin boost ball, why don't you get in front of that and just put on all the backspin? Like, this seems like a waste of a ball right here. And you timed out. And you wasted the ball. All right. Good job. Good job. In the hole. All right. That can't be good. You're right. That cannot be good. Now you got to make it. And we're going to waste another one of those balls. Shit, at this point, dude, just dunk it. Hell, you got all that backspin. Just try for a dunk. And no wind adjustment. So they put on curl to adjust for the wind. Yup. What kind of deal was that? Did that not seem like a waste of 2 of those balls? I mean, come on. At least put them to good use. They're your balls. You can play with them however you want. Somebody who listens to this channel never doesn't know out of context. It's like, this guy's on there talking about playing with your balls. They're yours. You paid for them. All right. 3 ways to play this hole. You can lay it up. You can hit it down into here. If you're hitting it down into here, this is your fail area right here, because you've got to maneuver past this in order to get, so you could end up with a rough bump off of this and just kind of bleed out. The whole deal here is, I think if you get down into that range, you're in short iron range. Is from here, which is where I'm going to hit, I think you're kind of like mid long iron. So you got wood, long iron, short iron, wood, and just laying up down into this area right here. It doesn't take much. This is I'm going to use my most accurate driver. You can use a quarterback, rock, whatever, power 3 ball. When you're hitting to the cup, there is a, so if you're hitting to the cup from over on the wood shot, you got a straight up shot for it. From here, you've got a straight up shot. Depending on how far out here you get, you may have taken yourself out of the range where, like, if you want to do the rough bump, you're changing your angle on it. If you're out in this area doing the rough bump and you try and do the rough bump straight up from this area, this area right here, X is like this. And so you're hitting from down in here, and when you go to get your ball guide up to the cup, your ball guide wants to run short or long. It doesn't want to get right to the cup. And the way that you can change that is to move your ball as far as you can to the left. You need a 3 side spin ball. If you're using a Grizzly, you barely have enough topspin to get there. So it is a good, if you like using a Goliath, this is a great Goliath shot, because you're going to be able to get your ball guide to get all the way to the cup. You have plenty of topspin. But with a Grizzly, you're right there on the edge. You got to pinch yourself way up to the top. Let's see what we got here. I'm going to use a king. Now, you can do this with you can hit this with a katana. And if you're using a Grizzly, you're probably better served to use a katana. If you're using a Grizzly, you're probably better off with a Kingmaker. And what the issue there is that here's your max, here's your min, here's your mid. With a Grizzly, you're pretty close to dead mid. But if you bring out a Goliath, you're going to be in between mid and min. And if you use a katana, it puts you back at mid. So if your plan is to hit the second shot with a Goliath, you might be better off. If you're doing the same shot that I'm doing here, you might be better off using a katana. And you can save yourself a Kingmaker. Let's see where it puts me if I used a katana with the Grizzly. I think it puts me kind of in between mid and max. And if you short shoot it, you could be pushing the limit on max. So with this kind of wind, it will help us. Yeah, we'll just go out there and we'll change the bag when we're out there. I want to use my number 2 bag because it's got my rock in it. There's no reason. You're doing a layup shot here. So anytime you're doing a layup shot on the drive, the most important thing is to actually lay it up and get in on the fairway. Because a lot of times when you're laying up, you're not trying to get max distance. You're not trying to do that. What you're trying to do is find, there's a spot. And if you're in that spot, that's the spot you're looking for. And if you're not in that spot on a layup, then you just screwed yourself by laying it up. So it's really important to be in the right spot so that the layup is actually effective. It's almost like the most important part of a rough bump is actually hitting the rough. And I've done it. Everybody's done it. You've gone the layup. Everything's like, hey, I'm not trying to do anything spectacular. I'm just trying to lay it up to that spot. And then we screw the layup up. So my opponent's going for the wood shot. They brought out a special ball to do it. You could hit over to that area right there with anything. You don't need a special ball. That's one of the reasons I like hitting over there, is just like, hey, just trying to get out to the end. So we got a straight up shot. No rough, no nothing. Just go right at the hole. But no, we got to bring out a special ball for that. Bag number 2. If I remember, I'm going to put on 3 topspin. That might be too much, but I'm going to put on 3. And I like that spot right there. 3-1. We are way downhill. I'm going to do 3-5. Why? Because I can. Hitting it perfect. Let's see how close I come to the rough on the left-hand side. It'll tell me whether the wind pushed me off a little. The wind did push me off a little. You probably need to do like a 20-25% adjustment down there. I still had plenty of room on a perfect, but the deal is on drive, especially when you're doing a layup like that, like give yourself enough room on either side. So I want to hit like straight down the middle of the fairway. If I'd have hit a 1-ring great to the left, it would have put me dangerously close to that rough over there. And once again, we don't want to screw up a layup shot. On a hole like this, it's not that you can't recover if you get down there, especially if you have a Nirvana. But if you've got, lower developed clubs, your rough iron, just like, that's not that far away, but your rough iron may not be able to get you there. That's one of the things that really blows when you first start playing is your. Okay, there's max. There's min. Damn, I'm almost at min. So 4.3 equals. I'm just gonna do the 4.3. Hey. 4.3. I'm doing a 10% adjustment on a minimum club, so there's 4.3. Minimum club's 1.1. 1.1 times 4.3 divided by 1.1 is 4.3, so just a little short. Probably would be better served. I've made that with my Grizzly, but it might be better served to play with a Goliath right there, just so that you could get that extra little bit of topspin. And I wouldn't have to pinch so close up to the front. So I'm going to recommend playing that with a Goliath. But you can get it done with a Grizzly. But you don't leave yourself much room for error on a Grizzly, especially if the wind was blowing, you were blowing headwind. It's gonna lay the ball down and you're gonna be even shorter. But I suppose in that scenario right there, you are really gonna be at minimum club. You could actually find yourself, if you overdrive the first shot, you could find yourself where you're in between clubs at the spot that you really need to be. So potentially you need the 3 side spin. So we don't have any regular 3 side spin balls that are in the 1 power range, unless you bring out something special. So if you're using a Goliath, you got to make sure that you're not over driving on the first shot. Hole number 6. Damn, are we already on hole number 6? Time flies. Hole number 6. Hole. All right, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? Is this a par 4? No, it's a par 5. Okay. That makes a little more sense. Okay, so we have several ways that we can approach this. We can come down into this area right here, and we're trying to bridge the gap to try and get the ball out into this area. We can also, there is a max overpower hook shot that you can do on this side with a quarterback, 3 side spin ball, rock, trying to get it to bleed up through the range, or you can try and go from here and try and get it to run up. Let's take my number 1 bag and a Titan and see what we can get done with it. We'll take the number 1. I might need the side spin to get me over there, but the top spin might bridge that gap. This is definitely a shot if you're going on the left-hand side and then trying to bring it back on the right and bridge the gap up there. It's definitely a shot you don't want to have to be doing overpower on it, because the first bounce you'll usually get fine, but the second bounce it's easy to get caught up in the rough right there. And it is quite the shot to try and make it, trying to recover. You really want to be in the fairway on your second shot. If I can get an opponent. Let's see if we can get her done. Get her done, 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 done. So you can come out into this area with all your topspin and try and get it out. So if you bring out a bigger ball, you don't have to do overpower, so that you can just try and hit it straight forward. Or you can come over into this area right here. If we were going to do this, we definitely want to bring out a club that's got some curl. I think I'm going to pull back just a little. 2, 3. Should be about a ring and a half. Getting it perfect. We'll see if we can just bring it around and run up that fairway. And I'm not sure I got any more distance there than I would have if I went on the other side and tried to run it up. But I definitely would have had to use overpower on the other side. Where am I at? Let's see what my opponent can get done. If you get this too much and you get that bounce, you'll roll off on the other side, just like my opponent did. But my opponent definitely netted. If they would have stuck in the fairway, let's see how much farther they got ahead of me. Not too much farther. They're on the same line as me, so you've got a couple of different ways that you can go at it. I'm right at max sniper. I'm do white and blue. We're going to do orange and blue. Four, 5. Man, that freaking sand is. There's 4, 5. And hit one ring right to the right. Definitely do not like dealing with the ring distortion there. When it gets in that really bad ring distortion, in one-on-one place, because you don't always just like have all of the numbers that you need for the holes just like right out in front of you. In one-on-one play, what I try and do when I'm seeing that ring distortion is I try and imagine in my mind's eye like where the ring really should be. You can pull from the other side, but sometimes that doesn't always work. You can start off at the bullseye, and then you can pull the rings from the other side so that you can get the rings right, but that doesn't always work. So I would say on that second shot, if the wind's blowing where you're going to have to interact with that sand, having ball that's got more side spin will allow you to pull the ball more to the right to give more separation from the sand. That'll give you more leeway. Or bringing out a ball that's got 3 wind or a bigger wind so that you won't have to make that big of an adjustment. And a ball that's got some side spin. That'll be able to pull you further away from it. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. All right. Hole number 7. What is hole number 7? We're in the final 3. Let's see if we can get something. Is that hole? That is hole number 7. And we just played this hole as well. All right. I still see a bunch of people hitting over into this area, and I have no idea why. I will say that when this hole first came out, Zachary Jones was demoing this hole and showing people playing over into this area, and I started seeing people play into this area over here, and I still am baffled at what the deal is. So if you look at where the tee box is at, tee box here, pin here, draw a straight line, you're trying to hit out into this area right here, you're at the very end of your run. You're not going to be able to get all the way around this corner and get way down in here or even close to the green. You're looking at just trying to lay up, and almost everybody I've seen do this shot has ended up either in the rough long or ended up in the rough short because they're trying to pull as much as they can around the corner. And I'm still baffled at this shot right here, especially in tournament play. In one-on-one play, you're just I suppose I could see it, but in one-on-one play, there's a layup shot you can do here, and there's a rough bump off of this little finger. So you can do a layup shot right here. You got a straight shot to the cup. You can do a rough bump off of this. Anywhere out in this area, you can still access that. You can hit it out into here if you want a little bit more distance. This is a wood shot. And this out here, depending on ball, might be a long iron shot, but you could do the rough bump here. So, I mean, if you got a Goliath, I'm sure that you could reach that. But on a hole like this during tournament play, I can tell you, like, you can come out here with the best of intentions and go, hey, I'm going to do this rough bump and everything's going to be hunky-dory, but you still have a lot of work to get done. When you have a shot that can get you over and try and get you into this area right here where you have a short pitch, percentage-wise, if I gave you 100 shots from over here and 100 shots from here, which ones are you going to make? At the end of the day, which one are you going to make the most? You're probably going to make this one right here more often than you're going to make this. So in one-on-one play, I understand the deal. Like, we're not going to bring out some special ball to try and get this done in one-on-one play. But in a tournament, it's a different story. You got to think different. That's why we buy those special balls, and you don't waste them doing some crap in one-on-one. This is where we want that ball. This is where we need that ball. So let's see what the way the wind's blowing. And that wind's not helping or hurting us. Bigger ball will help. And you can overdrive this on the drive. And actually, if you bring out a big power ball and you're doing max OP, you can actually overdrive down into this area. So I think if you bring out a power 5 ball, if we had headwind, I think you can do max OP, but I'm not so sure. What you've got to do is give yourself the entire length of this and not try and pinch yourself up over here. You want to be able to hit as far down into that pocket as you possibly can. Let's see what my options are. Power. Really like I'm going to use, we'll use another one of those. The bloodsucker. Bloodsucker. Open up a chest. Never play without an empty slot. We're farmers. If you don't like being a farmer, I don't know what to tell you, because you're farming club cards, whether you like it or not. And hey, the whole deal is, we all want better clubs, no matter what club level you have, unless every club in your bag is maxed out and all you have options for every day in the club card trading is balls. You're trying to get better clubs. And the only way you're going to get better clubs is to open up more chests. And I've never opened up a chest and got everything I wanted. Like I've opened up a chest and got the one card I needed to upgrade a club. But I've never opened up a chest and went, wow, I got enough to upgrade like 7 clubs. So that's not how it works. You gotta just one chest at a time, and we need to open up a lot of chests. Let's see what the deal is. I took this shot the other day because this was in that Far East 9-hole cup, and I actually overdrove the green. Probably don't need that much topspin. Let's try 4.5. Where does that put me? Let's try 5. That's right. 4-3. 3 is 4-5. Hitting it perfect. See if we can get all the way down into that hole and get enough run. I gotta get it. Got my angle wrong. Too much curl. I didn't really need to hardly add any curl on that, but I was in a little bit of power. Oh, screwed it up. I was looking at it because normally if you're doing that, you could do like a max curl thing, but from where I was at, I really didn't need to put on hardly any curl at all. Way too much. And you look to the right of where my ball's at. I got like 75 feet. I'm into the the way that Golf Clash measures this, I'm about 1.5 miles past where I needed to be just to be in the fairway. And in the rough. All right. Let's see if we can make this shot. I hit it perfect. It's going in the freaking hole. All right, perfect, goes in the hole. Not perfect, not going in the hole. One ring great to the right, not going in the hole. One ring great to the right. I would rather take that rough shot than try that shit on the left-hand side and have to, because the deal is that you're going to have a percentage of the time that you just make it over like my opponent. You might not have got as much distance as you wanted, but you made it over and you've got a shot with your wedge, as opposed to trying to hit it over to the other side where you're going to fail a certain percentage of the time and end up in the rough, and now you got a longer rough shot. Ooh, so close. They were at about mid-club, so it should have been like 2.4 per ring. It looked like they were pretty close on their adjustment. They eyeballed that, but I can't say anything critical about that because usually when I'm close with my wedge, I've played that so many times I know I eyeball them. I don't always do ring adjustments. Sometimes I'll do a ring adjustment and then go back and make sure that it's where I would have put it if I eyeballed it. I've done that enough that I feel comfortable eyeballing it. My opponent's not happy. Shit. I was there. And we both missed it. There is a good opportunity on that hole to get over. If the wind's blowing right, you can easily use a 3-power ball on that. Hole number 8. What is hole number 8 of Sharuba Springs? And there is a rough bump that we can do on this as well, using this area in here. And I think like this is more of the area that we're doing. I'm not a super big fan of these types of rough bumps on this because you're left to the right. Here you got front to the back. If you make a bad pull, you can over pull it and end up in the sand. You can under pull it and end up off. Here, if you hit a grate to the left or the right, you're either in the sand or you're here. You're giving yourself a little bit of leeway because you're in a wider part of the rough, but it's a narrow rough bump down here. You can try and go straight at it, but you do have a great opportunity with the rough bump. I think I can just go at it with a nav. I don't think I need anything special. We'll try it with a nav. We'll try it. And I think you're in your wood. I think you're in sniper range. We'll take that back right there. It's either sniper or grizzly, but I'm pretty sure it's sniper. And I'm almost positive that it's at least a 10% or right around a 10% adjustment. That wind works really well for us if we're doing that rough bump, because if we do hit a grate to the left or the right, we're still going to hit the rough. And if we over pull it or under pull it, we're still going to hit the rough. If I can get an opponent. Maybe. Finding an opponent. Thanks, Scooter, for joining the channel. Here we go. Anytime you can do rough bumps on these, you really have to at least explore it. It takes away any secondary wind effect. So, like, you're dealing with wind till the first bounce, and then it rolls out. And if you're doing what my opponent's doing, you'll definitely and it is grizzly. What power ball is that? Power 2. Look into my eye. One ring grate to the right. And they ended up on the left-hand side. So sometimes the first bounce area is such that if you hit a grate to the left, it ends up going to the right. If you hit a grate to the right, it ends up going to the left. But it could be you didn't make a good wind adjustment. Four, 5 before 9. 4, 9. Whew, that is freaking narrow. That'll be 4.5. I'm going to do 5. Hitting it perfect. Let's see if I can hit the rough. Most important part of a rough bump, hitting the rough. It pushed me way off. Let's see what it would have been divided by 0.9. Should have been 5.5 rings. 5.5, and I did 5. I'm hitting my grizzly at 0.9 at max, and I did it at 1 right there, so. And I added on 10%. In the hole. And I could have set that shot up a little bit better so that I wasn't so pinched on the thing. I had plenty of topspin to pull back a little. So from where I was at there, you got the rough, and you got the sand, and here's the pin, and I ran my topspin up, and then I lowered my topspin because I had too much on there, and what I should have did was left it where it was at and then pulled it back a little bit so that I was in the center a little bit more instead of being a half a freaking ring away from the thing. This is not my normal MO. Try and give yourself as much room. Try and set your ring set up so that you're giving yourself as much room on every side as you can, and use your club's topspin or use your club spin, and then take the shot. It gives you, that way if you don't hit it perfect, you gave yourself the maximum amount of leeway in the landing zone. And making a good pull would help, because I got pushed off, way off, by not pulling enough. Hole number 9. What is hole number 9? I thought that last the first par 5, the tough one. And this is another tough ass par 5. The thing about this par 5 here, and this is where people are going to fail, is they're going to fail right out in this area. You can fail at the beginning of the drive, but if people achieve the shot that they want getting over to the other side, this is where they fail, because they're trying to get all the way to this tip, and you can see the shadow right here. There's a ridge. And so if your ball's coming along and it hits that ridge and it starts going down, once it's going to pick up a little bit of speed at the end of the run, and you don't have much control at the end of the run, and you'll end up bleeding off into the rough right here, and you're in big ass trouble if you're in the rough on the first drive, on the first shot, because you got some work to get done to get up there for the second shot. So it's better to just be out here and give yourself that shot. And if you look at arcs, if we draw a line from the tee out into this zone and we start doing an arc on like what the shot would look like, you're not really picking up anything more if you get down in here than if you hit right here. It's the same distance to the cup. Now your angle's a little bit better, I'll give you that. But we do have side spin on balls, and so you can come up and you can apply some side spin to bring yourself back around to get in line with the cup, because you're not quite at the right angle. But the distance, you're not really gaining anything by trying to get out here, and I see a ton of people fail by over driving it. And here, it's not like, it's nice to have a bigger ball so that you can get this window on this side to get over to the other side, but having a big ball for the second shot is also very important. And depending on where you put yourself, if you end up a little short of where you'd really like to be, having that big ball is going to help you on that second shot. So this is kind of like the other hole, where you may not necessarily be bringing out the big ball for the drive. You're bringing out the big ball for the second shot. Let's see what it looks like with a 3 power ball. We'll see what it looks like with a 3 power ball, so that you can and if we've got a headwind, I may not be able to do that. And we've got wind that's going with us. And if you've got an APOC that's got that extra little bit of where it gets its last bit of yardage, so it's at the 240, this might be a hole to bring it out, because that little extra distance to the first bounce can help you. Anytime you can take a shot where your clubs and your ball is doing all the work and you don't have to do any overpower. It always sucks when you have to do some, like if you're just eking up against, you're rubbing the nubs, you're just a little not so much overpower that it's affecting the needle speed, but you can tell you're in overpower. We do that all the time. But when you have to start going half power, half overpower, then you're starting to get into the situation where, like, what's half overpower? And here I would have to do max overpower, max OP with a 3 power ball. So a 5 power ball, let's bring out a 5 power ball, will get me a little window. I'm only going to do 2.5 top spin. Give myself as much room as possible. You got to watch where that second bounce is on the. If I put too much curl on it, I'll bring that around. Put that extra little bit of distance back on it. Just a little teeny bit of curl. Hitting it perfect. Right there. Right at the top of that ridge. Start falling off that ridge, or start putting a little bit more on there. Once you hit that ridge, it picks up speed at the end of the run and just wants to roll off. And you can do exactly what my opponent's doing, where you're hitting it over. I would want to be more to the left and try and put some side spin, some right-hand side spin on it, so that I can get my ball to stay away from that ridge, because the trajectory that they're on, it's going right onto that ridge, where you can end up getting some roll off. Nice, very nice, nice. That works. That works. And a bigger hitting wood might be better. It's going to be on the inside. 4-5. I'm going to do a 10% adjustment, so there's 5. Hitting it perfect. I'm not so sure I shouldn't have did more of an adjustment, because that is way the hell downhill. In the rough. That's one of the things about coming into these, why I would make a note to bring out a bigger hitting wood. It's always better when you can take the shot going into the cup where you can engage a little bit of backspin, because you have a lot more control over it. If you miss it, it's still right there at the cup. But when you got to start running topspin on it, then if you miss the flagpole, now you're involved with whatever the slope of the green is, and you can just continue to roll. So if you're going to use a sniper, leaving it a little bit short and letting that roll out, or bringing a bigger club where you can get a little bit closer. And we're both in the rough. Well, hell, I've shot minimum score up to this point, so I think I better pick this up. Now, let's hedge our bets. If I hit it great to the right or perfect, it should go in. Perfect. And it'll go in on that side of the cup. Perfect. We're so close right there that wind's not a factor. And you're so close that it's only like maybe half a cup off if you hit it great to the left or the right. So you can't really give yourself both sides, but you could give yourself one. So you got 2 chances out of 3 to get it right. Got minimum score. And 2 of these par 5s, I think this par 5 and that first par 5 are big fail holes, where like the opportunity to epic fail is huge. So getting an eagle on this is, our Albie shots. There are going to be Albies made this week, but there's going to be a lot more people that are going to end up with birdie. A lot more people that are going to end up with birdie than Albie. I mean, I would go so far as to say that in 100 people, you're going to get less than 5 that get Albies, but you're going to get more than 30 that get a birdie. So coming here and getting the eagle is a win. Where does that put us? Let's see what kind of scores we got here. They're picking up, I would imagine, a 14's at the top. Yep. There are opportunities for us to pick up shots out there. There's the par 4s. There's several of the par 4s that we can get to in one, and we can get right off and have opportunities on them. And there are several of these par 3s that are extremely makeable. If we go back and look at the holes, this one right here, we have a great shot, but we still have some work to get done. And where I'm hitting at down here, or if you're hitting here, you do have a great shot to pick up one. No guarantee on this one. This isn't a gimme, but you do have a great opportunity to pick a shot up. Hole number 2, this par 3. We got a rough bump on that par 3. We have an opportunity. The par 3s here are going to be critical, because I think the par 3s are going to... There's several of the par 3s that we really need to pick up. This par 5 is a tough one. That's one of those holes that getting an eagle is a win. Another par 3. That's a straight up par 3, no rough bump available on that one. This is another par 4. We can put ourselves in a great spot, but we still have a lot of work to get done. And because of the way that the green is shaped, it can be tough on that second shot. But we do have a great opportunity here. But once again, no gimme. This is a pretty tough par 5 here, because if you screw up on your drive, you can really put yourself into a spot of bother. My opponent was in the rough here over on this side and was able to get it over, but even with a Nirvana with the topspin, trying to bridge this gap, you're right at the end of the run trying to bridge that gap with topspin, you can barely make it over, so you still have a short pitch to get into the cup. So all 3 of the par 5s here are challenging. This par 4 is probably our best opportunity to pick up a shot, because we can get over to the green side and just a short chip. So, I mean, if you're looking at 13, that's the hole right there to focus on, and then the other holes will try and get you to 14 or more. Of the par 3s, I think this one here is probably the most hole-in-oneable. The other 2 are fine, especially the first one, but this one here, we have a great opportunity. I just kind of set that shot up a little wrong. And once again, another hole that getting eagle is a win. So this is going to be a pretty good tournament. This is what holes should look like when they start off in a major, where we've got some challenging holes on here. And even if we think about our minimum score at -12, we've got a couple holes here that can put that minimum score at risk. You know, this isn't super easy, and then we're picking shots up. We've got to work to get the -12, especially on the 2 par 5s, and the mid par 5 is still pretty difficult. So, you know, shooting -14, picking up a couple on each side, because the par 5s aren't going to give you still have a chance if you put yourself in a good spot, but it's not the best chance or the best look in the world. It's not like a lot of these par 5s where we're coming at them with our long iron. So I'm thinking this week, you know, we could finally see a tournament where we have less than -64 win the tournament, where we're in the -28s. Could be in a winning round where we're just trying to pick up a couple per side. All right, there you have it. That's kind of my take a look at the holes and do my little walkthrough. That should get me in. Have a great week. Hopefully everybody has a good time in the tournament. I will try and hook up with Dunner either today or tomorrow and play another round with my Odd account and see what we can get done. Otherwise, be safe and be nice to each other. Thanks for watching.